Hello, Austin! Welcome to Lone Star Politics. I am the host, the Doctor of Politics, Dr. Love. Let's get right down to it. City politics. Austin City Council just had a meeting yesterday, and a lot went down. If you listened last week, you remember we had Travis Snavely on from AMPed, Austinites Against Metered Parking Extensions Downtown. Basically, the city needs money. The city needs money because they spend too much. So they thought they would get some money by extending parking meters downtown. Ordinarily, they're from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. They want to extend them until midnight and all day Saturday until midnight. Needless to say, this upset many Austinites, and Travis Snavely decided to get in contact with some of them. He basically walked around downtown Austin and told people about what was going on, and he told them about his Facebook group, and now has over 1,400 members to it. 1,400 people in Austin have signed up to his Facebook group and are adamantly opposed to extending parking meters downtown. Only 2 council members are thoroughly opposed to the parking meter extension as well. Newly elected Kathy Tovo, who beat incumbent Randy Shade just a month ago, and Laura Morrison, who was the People's Choice Award for Texans for Accountable Government because of her work with the Fusion Center and ensuring accountability and transparency with the Austin Regional Intelligence Center, which is the Fusion Center here in Austin. These are the 2 that are thoroughly opposed to them. The rest of the council is kind of up in the air. So yesterday, they were entertaining a motion to suspend or delay the implementation of the parking meter extension. And many people came down to testify. They came down at 10 a.m. in order to speak to council, urging them to delay the implementation of the ordinance that would extend parking meters until midnight downtown. And many of them called for a flat-out end to the parking meter extension, not just delaying it, but just absolutely stopping it, dead in its tracks. Some other things were going on downtown, or down at City Hall as well. The Water Treatment Plant 4, which is the biggest construction undertaking of the city of Austin right now, hundreds of millions of dollars, that was a very contentious issue I would say about a year ago. Randy Shade was the only person up for re-election who voted for it. And a lot of citizens were opposed to it, and that perhaps cost her the election. She lost to Kathy Tovo, who is opposed to Water Treatment Plant 4. The problem with Water Treatment Plant 4 is that we don't need it. It is very expensive, and as of right now, the consumption of water in Austin is at most 210 million gallons a day, and that is the days that we're supposedly allowed to water our grass, our yards. Other than that, it dips down to, I think, 180 million gallons per day. We would only need the Water Treatment Plant 4 if we went over 260 million gallons a day. We're nowhere near that. We're 50 million gallons below that on a bad day, in one of the hottest summers on record. So this is really unnecessary right now. Will we need it in the future? I hope not. I hope that Austin continues to conserve voluntarily. Austin is filled with many environmentally friendly green citizens, and hopefully we don't grow to that capacity. I would like to see Austin growth as far as population slow down. Texas is the fastest growing state in the nation. We got the most job growth in the nation. People are moving here, and people are moving to Austin. If we continue to grow at a rapid rate, we're just going to see worse issues regarding parking, worse issues regarding traffic. We're going to face higher utility rates because we're going to have to expand where we have plumbing and electricity in order to accommodate this new growth. So my hope is that we never reach that capacity of 260 million gallons a day. I would like the population to stay stable and for us to reduce our consumption voluntarily. For example, at my house, we have a rainwater collection set up. We have 3 50-gallon barrels, and just basically the gutter is set up to where when it rains, the water slides down the gutter and into these buckets. And then we can use those buckets for gardening, give it to the chickens. I have a couple chickens out back, and it's just a great way to conserve water. So there's all kinds of things we can do that are much better than spending hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars on Water Treatment Plant 4 that is of no value, zero value to the citizens if it's not needed. There's just going to be water sitting there, and we'll have the capacity to filter more water, but if we don't need it, it's an absolute waste. And right now, the council is entertaining an idea of delaying the construction of Water Treatment Plant 4. The vote for it last time was 4 for it, 3 against it. Now that Kathy Tovo's on the city council, it's now 4 against the water treatment plant and perhaps 3 in favor of it. So yesterday, council voted 5-2 to investigate looking into stopping the construction. Recently, the city of Austin signed a contract that would have them build Water Treatment Plant 4. It's already under construction, but I was continuing that, and the city council is looking into if there's a way to slow down the implementation of that or the purchasing of certain equipment. So certain members of the city council are doing their best to reduce spending and be accountable to the citizens and to the will of the citizens. Many citizens came down and testified against Water Treatment Plant 4. But that wasn't the only thing people were testifying about yesterday. People test about all kinds of issues, not only government spending, but also racial injustice. There's all kinds of activism in Austin, and there's all kinds of injustice in the world, and people from all different backgrounds are coming down to city council to speak their minds and tell city council what is important to them, what is wrong with Austin, and how city council can help. I think one way city council can help is get out of the way, is stop interfering in our lives. It would be a lot easier if we didn't have government intervention in a lot of ways. So one example I like to give is police intervention. I think Austin police are great. Police Chief Acevedo said hello to me yesterday and shook my hand and was curious what I was doing. He's a very nice guy. He smiles more than a politician. I don't know if he's running for anything, but I have no problem with him. Or Police Chief Carter. He was very good about setting up transparency with the Fusion Center. So our police are some of the finest in the country. The problem is the law says that if, for example, you are drunk to excess, or if you appear, quote, like you're going to harm yourself or others, the police officers are basically required to arrest you and take you to jail. Now in Europe, the police officers, if they find someone who's intoxicated to that extent, they're required to pick them up and take them home. Now the motto of the police officers in Austin is protect and serve. Protect and serve. Are they really protecting and serving the citizens when they find someone who has had too much to drink and is potentially a danger to themselves or others and then puts them in jail around other potentially dangerous people? I don't know if that's protecting and serving them. And this is a big cost to the citizens because we're paying for the police officer, we're paying for the cops in jail to book them and process them, and then there's all the legal fees that go on top of that. Why not just simply return them home? Really protect and serve them. Ensure that they get home safely. That would be a way to save money and protect the citizens of Austin. We need to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to find out how Austin has been basically very unjust in the way it's treated African Americans in the city of Austin. It's been going on since the 20s. They've been gerrymandering their vote. The city council has allowed for them to be basically pushed to the margins of the city at certain times. It restricted where they lived, where they could get their water, where they get their utilities. So we're going to explore that with an activist who came to City Hall yesterday to speak out against these injustices and ask City Council to actually apply some logic and look at the laws that are on the books and see the flaws in them and get some common sense laws, or basically remove these nonsense laws from the books so we can move closer towards racial justice in the city of Austin. We've been talking about Austin City Council and what just happened there yesterday and the government spending and citizens speaking out. Here's a clip of one gentleman speaking out against unnecessary spending at Austin City Council on Thursday.
I oppose resolution item number 10 to authorize execution of a construction contract with Texas Local Government Purchasing Cooperative and Weatherproofing Technologies, Houston, Texas, for ADIA. This is for cargo apron parking in an amount not to exceed over $300,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've been to the airport. I think we have enough parking. We have this stuff. We need everyone speaking out on these things. It may seem small, mayor and council members, $300,000 may not seem like a lot of money. I know each day there's millions at stake that you guys meet. I understand that's a great responsibility. We do not need to be sending out $300,000 for parking we already have for architectural consulting services for Austin Energy's new system control center in the amount of $230,000. That's another $300,000. This is another absurdity. It's another unnecessary expenditure. Retail consultant services for retail recruitment. We don't need retail recruitment. Austin is a great city. People will come to us with the free market. That's how the world works. We don't need to be paying a consultant $50,000. That's another. I'm going to count up the money. We're almost up to $700,000 now. Why do we have a consultant? City Council. What is the purpose? Anyone? I hope you'd be a little more astute. This is our money here. I wish you would answer my questions. This item here will authorize, award, negotiate, and execute amendment number 3 with a contract, a pre-existing contract with Concourse Communications Group, LLC, Chicago, Illinois, for additional security system cameras in an amount not to exceed $151,991.05. Total contract, nearly $600,000. What are we up to now? 1.7 million? That's 2 million. I would cut all this stuff. You guys need to start thinking survival. We have cameras. We have fine security at ABIA. I've flown through ABIA. We don't need more cameras. We need a free society is what we need. We need to foster trust. Cameras don't do that. That's all about distrust and control. Have you read George Orwell's 1984? That explains what we're going through. This is what our society is facing. And it starts with you. Don't pass the buck on to the feds. This is Austin City Council, so I hope you're listening. This is up to you. This is $3 million we're at already. I'm sick of it. Please vote no. Thank you. For the lease, installation, and maintenance of 28 multifunction document imaging machines for the APD to increase the contract not to exceed $128,000 for a total revised contract of over $715,000. Over $1 million, almost $1 million for copy machines? Unnecessary expenditure. It's that simple. Please vote no. Thank you. For flag football operations services for Parks and Recreation Department, not to exceed $19,000. $20,000 might not sound like a lot of money, but I've played flag football. You don't need $20,000 to play flag football. Around, to me, this is the most dangerous item. For herbicide application in an amount not to exceed $1,765,000. But if you're going to be spraying chemicals where I live, where I walk in Peace Park, on Shoal Creek, on Waller Creek, on the east side, on the west side, downtown, this is where I live. I'm breathing in this air. I do not want to die of cancer. I'm sure no one else here does either. So we need to stop this. This is $2 million, Mayor. $2 million almost. And we're going to be spraying ourselves silly. Very simple. It's herbicide. This is cancer-causing agents. Have you heard of DDT? Vote now. I live here. I will fight this to the end. Thank you.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Passes on vote 7-0.
And right here in the studio, we have Zenobia Josephs, who went down to City Council yesterday and told them what she thought about some of the ridiculous laws on the books right here in Austin. Zenobia, welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor, privilege, and blessing to be here with you tonight, Dr. Love.
Before we get started, here is the clip of Zenobia speaking at City Council yesterday, imploring Council to appoint an educator to the Education Board and have at least one black citizen on that board.
The other board that I am concerned about is the Education Consortium. It basically, in my understanding, does not have an educator on that board. I did apply in 2008. I'm a former teacher of the year, and I don't see any black educators or educators in particular